All right, with that being said, let's get into it. Today, I'm going to teach you the most powerful skill in business. You see, yesterday, you learned how to develop your first AI digital product, and many of you were blown away with what was revealed. You saw how Ryan is consistently making 4K every month with his digital product. You saw how James earned $6,000 in his first week of applying this system and a total of $16,000 in his first month. You saw how Armando made over $100,000 in 45 days and retired his parents, as well as Zada, who made 120K in revenue while taking care of two young kids, as well as Alex, who made 145K in 90 days and ranked in the top 10 of our Monetize Mania competition the last time we hosted this challenge. And today, I'm going to reveal arguably the most important step of our equation, which is how to start seeing real cold hard profits being generated from your AI digital product. And if you attended yesterday's session, you also saw the special offer that we made. And in my almost a decade in this industry, I have never, ever seen such demand and anticipation for an offer like we had yesterday when we opened up enrollments for Monetize. Now, if you missed yesterday's session, does that mean that you completely missed out and you should stop paying attention? Not at all. In fact, as a matter of fact, you are in for an incredible surprise. If you thought yesterday's special bonus was incredible, wait till you see this exclusive limited time add-on that I have in store for you, okay? Even my team thought I was batshit crazy for making this available here today. But I'm gonna let you be the judge of that when we show it later. All I will say for now is this. This particular bonus, which I'm going to reveal later, has created more than 51 millionaires and generated many millions of dollars in success for those who paid a lot of money for it in the past. This bonus is something we'll only make available for the people who have already signed up for Monetize, as well as the people who sign up for Monetize before the end of our live presentation. So if you already signed up for Monetize, big congratulations. You will get airdrop this for free. And if you sign up before the end of today's session, well, then congratulations, you will also get it. But once this stream ends, that's it. It is not available anymore. But all of that in due time. My main focus here today is actually to help you understand how to start making real money from your first AI digital product. So that way you can walk away from today knowing exactly how to turn the product you learned to build yesterday into your first real online income. Now, by the time that episode 1 is done, you're going to know exactly how to put it in front of millions of buyers who are already in buying mode and looking for exactly what you built. So that way, the gap between having an AI digital product and making money from it closes today. And that is what makes today the most important day of this challenge, because everything we covered yesterday was building towards this moment. The product was never the end goal, the income was. And today is the day that that becomes real. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it, okay? Look, the first thing you need to understand here is that most people who fail to make money with AI digital products don't fail because their product is bad. They fail because they are trying to solve the wrong problem. Here is what this problem is. They spend all of their time and energy on selling, on convincing people who weren't looking for what they sell to stop, pay attention, and hand over their money. And that is, without question, the hardest way to make money that exists. I mean, just think about it. Imagine you're selling homemade cookies. You have two options. Option one, you stand on a random street corner with a sign trying to convince every passenger or passing by stranger, I should say, to stop and buy. You spend most of your time explaining what cookies they are, why yours are good, and trying to create desire in people who weren't hungry when they walked by. Or option two, you place your cookies in the dessert section of a busy food court right next to the sign that says desserts. The people who walk up to that counter, they're already hungry. They're already looking for something sweet, and they have already decided to spend money on a treat. You don't need to convince them of anything. You just need to be there when they arrive. The product is actually the same in both scenarios, but which is easier? The second one, right? Not because of anything you did differently, but because of where you actually chose to show up. So, are you here to take the easy path or the hard path? If you want the hard path, I'll be honest, I don't know why you're here in the first place, okay? I am here because I want to hand you the easy path, okay? That is what I'm going to give you here today. So that way you can start making money even if you have never made any money online before. Now, just like I mentioned before in episode 2, I want you to think about every product sitting on the shelves of a supermarket right now. Each of those brands is moving tens of millions of dollars in revenue. Well, how many times does someone from Kellogg's come knocking on your door trying to sell you cereal? Never. They don't call you, okay? They don't cold call you. They don't DM you. They don't try to convince you that cereal is a good idea. They simply put their product where people who already want cereal are already going. That's not sales, it's positioning. And it generates more revenue than any sales strategy ever could because it doesn't fight human behavior. It works with it. And you can take advantage of that too to make money from your AI digital products. The shift from selling to positioning is the one that separates the people who are grinding for every single sale from the people waking up to notifications that they didn't even have to work for. With this strategy, you can build something that generates income without ever having to wonder where the next sale is coming from because the demand is already there, already on the platform, already looking for what you are selling. And the way to position your AI digital product in the right shelves is by listing it on the digital marketplaces. That is the key word for everything we're going to be doing today: listing. Listing is not a super complex strategy that requires technical knowledge or business experience to execute. It is, in the most literal sense, the act of making your product available in a place where buyers already are. And it's been the foundation of commerce for as long as commerce has existed. Before the internet existed, a local business that wanted customers did one thing above everything else. They listed themselves in the Yellow Pages, not because the Yellow Pages was some brilliant marketing innovation, but because it was where people who needed something went to go find it. A plumber who was listed in the Yellow Pages didn't need to go knock on doors or run ads. They just needed to be findable in the places that people looked for when they needed a plumber. That is listing. It predicates every marketing framework ever invented, okay? And it still works for the same reason it always has. People who want something will go somewhere to find it. And if you are there when they arrive, you win. When eBay launched, it didn't teach people how to sell. It gave people a place to list things that they already had in front of people who were already looking to buy. The sellers who made the most money on eBay, they weren't the best salespeople. They were the ones who understood what was in demand. They listed it there and they let the platform handle the rest. And this concept hasn't changed. The platforms have just gotten significantly more powerful, and the products being listed have gotten significantly more profitable. Now, today, listing a digital product means uploading it to a digital marketplace and making it available for purchase. The platform handles the discovery, the payment processing, the delivery. You don't chase anyone, you don't pitch anyone, okay? You put your product where the buyers already are, and the marketplace connects you with them. And there are dozens of people making a full-time income from their digital products who aren't doing anything more sophisticated than this. If you remember yesterday, I mentioned the example of Jamarcio and Julio, who together created a digital product on the topic of sports priced at $50 a month, and they listed it on WAP's marketplace. And as a result, this digital product started to rank on WAP's marketplace top charts, netting them 450 signups from people who were already shopping around on the marketplace. Just so you get an idea, that equates into $22,000 in earnings going straight to their pocket every single month, only from listing their product on a marketplace. Another example is this guy who doesn't even show his face online and created a minimalist money tracker template. He listed it on the Notion marketplace and got 12,000 purchases at $14 a pop. That is $168,000 in revenue from a simple digital product that you can quickly create with the right AI tool. They listed something that people wanted in a place where those people were already looking, and then they let the infrastructure do the rest. And what I love the most about this strategy is that amongst these individuals making high full-time incomes from listing their digital products, there are all sorts of people. I was watching an interview with one of our monetized clients whose name is Ramsey. He's a 33-year-old from Canada. He is married. He has a 1.5-year-old daughter. And when asked why he decided to leave his previous job to go full-time with digital products, he said that he felt used as a pawn, okay? And that's something you might identify with, okay? He was generating revenue for someone else's business while having no real room to grow as an individual and personally. And this combination of feeling underappreciated and knowing that there's not much you can do about it is one of the most depressing states that you can find yourself in, because you know that you deserve more. You know that you are meant for more. But you're just stuck there, feeling powerless, as if you have no control over your own situation. And that feeling, plus having a newborn daughter, pushed Ramsey to make the leap. He wasn't just doing it for himself. He was doing it for his family and freedom. And because he had the courage to take this leap, his wife is now a stay-at-home mom, and he works from home and can step out of the office at any moment to be with his daughter. Is there any type of freedom bigger than this? This is what I mean when I say that this model gives you the freedom to do whatever you want. Look, I'm not talking about the fancy cars, although, look, if you like them, go have them. But more important than any materialistic good is being able to spend time and take care of the ones that matter to you on your own terms, not someone else's, not your boss's terms, not your client's terms, your terms. Ramsey even mentioned that his father once told him that some people use their hands while others use their head. And that actually stuck with me. What I'm showing you today is about using your head so that way you don't ever have to use your hands. So that way you can stop generating revenue for someone else's business and start building something that pays you on your own terms and on your own schedule, without anyone else deciding what your time and effort are worth. No more waiting to find out if someone else thinks that, oh, you deserve more. No more watching the company grow while your salary stays roughly the same. No more trading your best hours, the hours your family needs, the hours you will never get back for a fixed number that someone else decided was fair. And that shift from feeling like a pawn to feeling like you are playing your own game is one of the most profound things that a person can experience. Because I can tell you for a fact, it's not just about the money. It's about looking at your life and knowing that what happens next is yours to decide. So here's why listing a digital product takes less time than setting up a social media profile, and why that simplicity is exactly what makes it so powerful. You see, one of the most common things I hear from people who are hesitant about listing their first AI digital product is, well, I'll get to it when I have more time. And the assumption when they say that is that this requires significant time investment to get started. Well, let me tell you, it doesn't. Okay, setting up a product listing on Whop takes less time than creating a social media platform. You upload your product, you write a headline, you add a brief description, you set your price, and voila, you hit publish. The platform handles everything else. There's no tech stack to configure, no integration to set up. The entire process from having a finished product to having a live listing that buyers can find and purchase is measured in minutes, not hours. You see, the truth is most online business models use complexity as a moat. They require you to learn tools, systems, and processes before you can actually generate your first dollar, which means most people quit during the setup phase before they ever find out if the model works. Listing removes that moat entirely. The barrier to getting started is so low that the only thing separating you from a live product in the market is simply the decision to do it. And the less complicated the entry point, the faster you can test, learn, and improve. Look, the people making the most money with digital products on these marketplaces aren't the ones who spent the most time perfecting their setup. They are the ones who listed something, saw how the market responded, adjusted, and listed again. Speed of iteration is what builds income in this model. And this simplicity is what makes speed possible. I'm making this point so that way, the whole idea of, oh, I don't have time for this permanently stops being a reason that this stays on your list of things that you will eventually get done. So that way you can stop waiting for the right moment, the right amount of time, or the right set of circumstances, because the only thing that was ever actually standing between you and a live product in the market was the decision to put it there. You don't need a free weekend. You don't need to clear your schedule. You don't need to wait until things settle down at work or until life gets less busy. No, we both know this. Life never gets less busy, okay? You need the time it takes to upload a file, write a headline, set a price, and hit publish. That is it. And by the time you finish your next coffee, you could have something live on a marketplace with over 22 million customers. The people who are generating income from this right now didn't wait until they were ready. They just started. And starting, it turned out, was the only thing that was ever required. Now, before I show you exactly how you too can get started listing your AI digital product on these platforms, I want to be straight up with you about something. And it's about this idea of passive income. What passive income actually means in this model, okay? I want to just draw a line in the sand here, because the term gets thrown around so carelessly that it's triggered legitimate skepticism in a lot of very intelligent people. And the skepticism is totally understandable. Here's the thing. Passive income is not zero work. That does not exist. Don't ever let anyone lie to you and tell you that it does. Passive income is not zero work, okay? It's work done once work that you front load that generates income repeatedly. The passive part isn't about avoiding effort. It's about the relationship between your time and how much money you make. In a traditional job, or even most businesses, every dollar you earn requires a corresponding unit of your time. If you stop working, the income stops. Whereas I should say, with a listed digital product, the work happens once during the creation and setup, and the income continues independently of whether you are working or not. That is what makes it passive. Not the absence of effort, but the decoupling of income from time. That is what makes it. Okay. The people currently making $9,000 a month on WAP are not working $9,000 worth of hours every month, okay? Many of them built their products weeks or even months ago. They listed it, the marketplace sends the buyers, WAP processes the payments and delivers the product automatically. Their ongoing involvement is minimal. Checking in, occasionally updating, occasionally adding a new product. The income doesn't require their daily presence because the infrastructure handles everything they used to require a human to do it. So, when we say passive income, it does not mean make money without work, okay? I want to make that very clear. It means create a product once, get paid multiple times for it instead of only once, so that this way you can make more money without necessarily having to invest more time for it. Now, a product listed in the wrong place with the wrong positioning will sit there and make no money. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to get right today. So that way you too can start making money without having to trade more of your time for it every single time. Income that continues to come in, okay? Once the initial work has already been done. Not because you found a shortcut, but because you built a product that people want and listed it on a marketplace where these people are already looking for it. Exactly like Mishfit, who just woke up to $400 in profit in his WAP account. He posted this win yesterday, by the way. So what I'm showing you here is something that's working right now in his own words. The system works while you sleep. Build it once, let it run forever. And there's something quietly significant about, you know, robustly significant and just like there's a bigger meaning to this, okay? It's actually not about the money. When this first happens to you, when you first wake up to money in your account that wasn't there when you went to sleep, it triggers something because it means the dreams you had of growing up, of leaving the life that you were living, you know, the dream that has been slowly washed away from you by the system that's constantly telling you, oh, just do as you're told, follow the safe path, to not set unrealistic expectations. That dream that you eventually stopped letting yourself want because wanting it felt naive, that dream wasn't wrong, okay? You just found the right vehicle to achieve it. Until now. Look, here is what this system actually looks like once your first AI digital product is listed, and why the work to maintain 10 sales a month is identical to the work to maintain 1,000. I want to paint a specific picture of what this actually looks like in practice. Not the aspirational version, but the honest operational version, because understanding the day-to-day reality of a listed digital product is what makes the income numbers I've been showing you make complete sense. So here's the actual reality of this operation. Once your product is listed and your page is live, your business runs on infrastructure that you don't have to manage. WAP handles payment processing, product delivery, and customer access automatically every time a sale occurs. You don't send emails, you don't fulfill orders, you don't respond to purchase notifications with manual actions. A customer finds your product, they see your product listing, they click pay, they click the button, I should say, they pay, and then they receive access. It is as simple as that. All of that without requiring any input from you. That process works identically whether it happens once or 1,000 times, which means that this is the only model that allows you to scale to make more money without having to do something more complicated or complex as you grow. In almost every other business model, growth creates operational complexity. More customers means more service, more fulfillment, more staff, more problems. A digital product listed on a marketplace, that breaks that relationship entirely. The infrastructure that delivers your product to one customer delivers it to 10,000 with exactly the same amount of effort from you. There's no inventory to manage, no shipping to coordinate, no team to hire. That is why this is called the ultimate one-person business. You know, I have this concept, and you may have actually heard me talk about this if you've been following me for a while. I've been talking about it for years and years and years now. It's called private victories, and in fact, I actually have it tattooed on me. You'll see it right about here, right? For every public win that people see, the cars, the watches, the vacation, all the flashy bullshit, okay? There are dozens, hundreds, even thousands of smaller moments that are actually way more meaningful and significant. One of mine is still to this day getting a sales notification on my phone when I'm not working. Look, it never gets old. Like if someone asks me, "Oh, does this ever get old?" I would, I would love to sit here and lie to you and say, "Yeah, you get used to it." No, it never fucking gets old. It every single day you wake up and you're grateful and you're almost in disbelief. Look, when I'm at dinner with my friends, when I'm training at the gym, when I'm driving somewhere and that notification comes in, it is a reminder that someone somewhere found something that I built once, decided it was worth paying for, paid for it, and received it without any of my involvement. Think about that for a minute. How crazy is that? Someone on their own finding a product you built once, deciding to buy it, paying for that product, getting that product instantly delivered to them, the money hitting your account, all of that without you having to do any extra work. That is something that has never been possible in human history. But now that is what a listed digital product can actually do for you. And I genuinely cannot wait for you to feel that feeling of getting a sales notification for the first time, especially when you're not working. That moment, okay, that quiet, private, completely unremarkable to everyone else around you. Okay, that moment is one of the most significant things that you will ever feel because it is the first proof in your own life that the relationship between your time and your income has permanently changed. And once you felt it, you will understand why people who built this can't go back. Not because of the moment. Look, your first sale might be $19. I'll be honest. Okay, that's a realistic starting point. Okay, I don't want to sit here and say you're good. I am so brutally honest with you guys, and I'm probably too honest for my own detriment. I actually probably should say, oh yeah, passive income exists, and like you're gonna become a millionaire overnight, and like I would just be lying to you. Okay, and I will never sit here and I'll lie to you. This is actually very realistic. Okay, your first sale might actually just be $19, but who gives a shit? It's not about the money. It's because that's not what matters. What matters is what it represents. Because in that moment, you are not trading time for money anymore. You're just living your life and the money is coming anyway. That is what listing a product feels like. Now, let me address something about the reality of listing. I get it. There's a big fear of competing against established sellers. Okay, that's one of the biggest reasons that people hesitate to list their first product. And it makes complete sense on the surface because if you have ever looked at a crowded marketplace and thought, well, there's no room for me here, that instinct feels completely reasonable. But it is based on a misunderstanding of how digital product marketplaces actually work and of where the money in this model actually comes from. Here's the truth. A digital product in fitness is competing against thousands of established creators with years of authority and very large audiences, but a digital product specifically for men over 45 dealing with lower back pain from desk work, well, that's competing with almost nobody, while serving a group of people who are actively searching for exactly that solution and finding very little. The broad market is crowded, but the specific market is almost always wide open. And because AI makes it possible to create highly specific products without being an expert in the topic, that advantage of specificity is now available to anyone who is willing to use it. Look, I want to show you these digital products as an example. A digital planner made specifically for people with ADHD, a wedding planner digital product, a 28-day keto diet challenge. At first glance, these look like simple, almost obvious ideas, nothing that should generate serious income. But here's what actually happened. The wedding planner, more than 8,000 buyers and over $23,000 earned from its creator. That ADHD planner, over $72,000 generated. And the 28-day keto challenge, over $1 million a month. And those products, and those are products for specific people, not broad products that appeal to everyone. And that is why I say that the highest earning products on these marketplaces are rarely the broadest ones. They are the ones that solve one specific problem for one specific group of people so precisely that the buyer feels like the product was made specifically for them. And if you think about it from a buyer's perspective, that feeling of finding something that addresses exactly your situation rather than some broad version of it, that is what drives the reviews, the word of mouth, and the repeat purchases that compound income over time. Specificity isn't a limitation. It's actually the opposite. It's the engine of growth. And here is something that most people miss. Large established creators they actually have a structural disadvantage in specific topics because their audience is broad, their positioning is general, and their products are built for the widest possible market. A product built specifically for cardio improvement in cyclists age over 50 is not something a major fitness creator can or will build. But that's because their business model depends on the broad appeal, which means that specificity is yours for the taking. In a marketplace where buyers are searching for solutions to specific problems, the specific product almost always wins over the general one. So that way, you can stop worrying about whether there's enough room for you in this market because the specific pockets where the real money lives are so underserved right now that just showing up is almost enough on its own. But here's what this really means for you. The money isn't waiting for the best product. It's waiting for any product that actually speaks to that specific person's situation. And there are thousands of pockets sitting untouched right now with buyers already in them and almost no one selling to them. You are not trying to carve out a slice of something that's already been divided up. Instead, you're walking into a room that's full of buyers and almost empty of sellers. So the question stops being, will I be able to make money? And instead becomes, which pocket do I want to go into first? There isn't just one place to list a digital product, by the way. There are several, each with different audiences, different product types that perform the best on it, and a different mechanism for connecting sellers with buyers. And I'm going to explain all of that in just a minute. Don't worry. And the good news is, understanding the landscape takes about 5 minutes. But once you do, the decision of where to list becomes obvious rather than overwhelming. The 4 marketplaces worth knowing about right now are Whop, Udemy, Etsy, and ClickBank. Look, they don't all work the same way, not even close. Whop is a digital product marketplace for all types of digital products that you can imagine. Courses, templates, communities, guides, tools, planners, and even software with a rapidly growing buyer base and a supply gap that makes it the most accessible entry point right now for anyone new to this industry. And by the way, I put my money where my mouth is. Whop is the platform that I have personally invested the largest part of my net worth into, but not only because I sell my own digital products there, but also because it has the growth potential, okay, I should say it has by far the biggest growth potential of any platform in the space. And the ones who get in early are the ones who are going to reap the biggest rewards. Udemy is the largest online learning marketplace in the world, with millions of students actively searching for courses on every topic imaginable. Etsy, which most people actually associate with handmade physical goods, has quietly become one of the largest download marketplaces in the world. Printables, templates, planners, guides, and millions of active buyers who are already on there and have the habit of purchasing things that they find on the platform. And you also have ClickBank, which actually operates on a completely different model from all of the above. One that actually deserves its own section because the mechanism it uses to connect sellers with buyers is unlike the other platforms. But first, which one is right for your AI digital product? Look, if you are building a how-to type of product, like a course or a guide, Whop and Udemy are both a natural good fit, but Whop offers the advantage of a far less saturated market. If you are building a downloadable, like a printable, a planner, or a resource pack, Etsy is an option that most people completely overlook. And if you want other people to actively promote your product for you, ClickBank and Whop have a feature that allows you to do just that. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A course on Excel shortcuts has actually sold over 100,000 units on Udemy. That's millions in earnings. On Whop, our users are generating $250 million every single month. And in fact, it's actually much higher than that now. And on Etsy, people are earning more in a year from a simple Bible study template and baby alphabet books than most people make in a full-time job. That is enough to do something like Armando did, like buying his dad his dream truck. Look, imagine walking tomorrow and walking to your dad or your mom or your partner and seeing the look on their faces when they see their dream car parked in their driveway. I have personally experienced this exact situation when I bought my mom her dream house in London and I handed her the keys to it. And the way that you feel in a moment like that, that is not a feeling I can ever describe in words. And I truly, truly hope that you get to experience that feeling yourself in your own life with your loved ones. And really the cool thing about this story is the house I gifted her was actually paid with the earnings from a single digital product of mine. That is the potential of what we are talking about here. And if you look back at all of these examples I just mention here, here's what all of those products had in common, or rather, what they didn't have. They didn't have a huge marketing budget, they didn't have a massive audience, and they weren't anything that you couldn't have created with the right specialized AI. Therefore, the principle of listing is validated at the largest scale possible, and you now know the marketplaces make this principle possible. The buyers are already there, and the products that are winning aren't being built by people with unfair advantages. So the only thing standing between you and your first listed product is the decision to list one. And now, here is the secret to multiplying the income you make from your AI digital product without adding any more work. Most people assume that once they've listed their product on one platform, well, that's it. One product, one listing, one stream of income. And that if they want to earn more, they assume that they need to build something new. Look, that's not how it works, okay? The product you create once can be listed on more than one platform at the same time. A digital course on improving sleep quality for shift workers, let's say, can live on both Whop and Udemy at the same time. A productivity planner can be listed on both Whop and Etsy, just like a downloadable meal planning guide. Each additional listing allows you to multiply your income from the same product without requiring you to create anything new. Therefore, the work of creation happens once, but the income from that work compounds across every single platform where the product lives. You build it once and it earns everywhere. Now, everything I've just shown you so far follows the same basic model. You list your product, buyers come to the marketplace, and the marketplace connects them with what you're selling. It's simple, it works, and for most people, it's more than enough. But there are a few marketplaces that invert that model entirely. Instead of waiting for buyers to come to the marketplace and find your product, ClickBank actually has built an entire network of promoters. Thousands of independent promoters who actively go out into the world and bring buyers directly to your product. You don't have to do any of the finding, but the sale still happens. Other people do it for you in exchange for a commission on every sale that they generate. That is the entire premise upon which ClickBank was built. When you list a product on the ClickBank marketplace, it becomes visible to that entire network of promoters. These are people who have email lists, YouTube channels, social media audiences, and who are actively looking for products to promote to their existing audiences in exchange for a cut. When they promote your product and generate a sale, they receive their cut automatically, and you keep your profits. You didn't run a single ad, you didn't send a single email, you didn't create a single piece of content. But a buyer landed on your product listing anyway because someone else used their own audience, their own channels, and their own budget to bring them there. And if you're asking yourself whether people, there are people who actually do this, well, there are platforms out there that have paid out over $7 billion in commissions to people promoting someone else's digital product. There are products on these platforms being promoted by hundreds of promoters at the same time, each one running their own campaigns, reaching their own audience, and generating sales around the clock across every time zone imaginable. But you don't need hundreds of promoters. Imagine if just 10 or 20 people decided your product was what they were going to promote, and then they started running their own campaigns to their own audiences without you paying them a single dollar upfront, without you having to recruit them, without you ever having to speak to them at all. They found your product, they decided it was worth their time, and the money they make from it flows straight into your account. Look, in every other marketplace model, listing puts your product in front of buyers who are already there. But this takes an entirely different approach, okay? It puts your product in front of an army of promoters who then go and find buyers who weren't there yet, and they bring them to you. The marketplace doesn't just connect you with existing demand, but it actively creates new demand for your product through the efforts of people who have a direct financial incentive to make your product sell as much as possible, allowing you to make exponentially more money from the same AI digital product. And that is when this stops feeling like a side income and starts feeling like you are truly building something. Like that digital real estate portfolio that I talked about and referenced inside of episode 1. Assets that you build once and that keep paying you over and over again. And each new listing works like a new rental property, adding another recurring paycheck to your digital portfolio. But unlike a real rental property, there's no mortgage, there's no maintenance, there's no 2 a.m. calls about a broken pipe. So that way, you're not just listing products. You are acquiring real assets and building a portfolio that works while you don't. And if you want to accelerate this process of building your digital portfolio even further, well, then I have a little secret for you. Whop just launched their new promoter marketplace where 30,000 people are waiting to promote your product. So, if you want the same advantage with insane growth potential from being early to something huge, I highly recommend you start listing your products there ASAP. In a second, I'm going to show you how simple it is to list your AI digital product on Whop. So that way, you know that you have what it takes to do so. It takes about 3 minutes in total, and we'll get back to that in just a minute. Look, at this point, you understand how these marketplaces work and why the listing principle is so powerful. There is a question that you should be asking yourself right now. If Whop has 21 million buyers and fewer than 79,000 sellers, and the other platforms have millions of buyers on them as well, then why do some products on these platforms generate hundreds of thousands of dollars while others sit there for months without a single sale? Well, my friend, that is a very good question. And the answer is the marketplace brings people to the shelves, but something else determines which product they pick up. Imagine you're walking into a supermarket and you reach into the ice cream section. Right at eye level, the best possible position in the freezer is a plain white container with no label. Just the words chocolate ice cream written in marker. And right next to it is a product with clear packaging, a compelling name, and a description that makes you feel like this is exactly what you came in for. Both products are in the same location. Both are visible to the same buyer, but only one of them gets picked up. And the difference isn't the product inside the container. It is the packaging that communicates its value. Getting your product into the right shelf is the listing, but getting the buyer to pick it up, that's something entirely different. And here's something that will permanently change how you think about AI digital products. Two products on the same marketplace, addressing the same topic, solving the same problem at the same price point, and yet they can produce results that are orders of magnitudes apart. But not because one product is better than the other. The products are the same, but because one product listing is better than the other. Take, for example, these two products with the exact same content, the exact same topic, and the exact same price. The only difference? The words that they use on their listing. One listing states the topic broadly and generically, but the other one speaks to a specific person's pain point, making a precise promise, addressing every objection, and structures the argument in a way that purchasing feels like the next logical step. Which one do you think makes the most money? And the difference isn't in what they generate, okay? The difference in what they generate, it's not slight, okay? It's dramatic. Sometimes by a factor of hundreds. You see, that first one, it didn't make a single dime. But the second one, as you already know, it made millions. The products didn't change, but the words did. And the words determine everything. Here's what the listing that generated the most sales actually looks like. Because it's not what most people expect. They name the specific person that they are for. They describe that person's specific situation in a language that makes them feel heard and understood. They make a promise that speaks directly to that person and what they want to achieve. And then they present the product as the clearest, most direct path between where that person is and where they want to be. That precision, that feeling of this was written for me is what destroys resistance and makes the purchase feel obvious rather than risky. And after making more than $100 million from my own digital products and helping thousands create an income from theirs, starting from zero, I have gotten I've gotten to a point where I've boiled this down to science, and I have an insanely specific framework that is proven to make people reach into their back pocket, whip out their wallet, grab their credit card, and buy your product on the spot. Look, right now, on every one of these marketplaces, there are products that solve real problems and were built with genuine care, sitting completely invisible with zero sales. I call these invisible products. And they're not invisible because the product is bad. You know why they're invisible? Because they don't follow the same formula. It doesn't communicate the value clearly enough. It doesn't connect the buyer's specific problem to the product's specific solution. And it doesn't create the feeling within the first few seconds of landing that this was built exactly for them. And as a result, most people don't whip out their wallets to buy. This product didn't follow the formula. Neither did this one, nor did this. Now, this product did follow it, and so did this one, and this one, and that is the difference between the products that make no money to the ones that make tens of thousands. A great AI digital product with a poor product listing is like the world's best ice cream in a plain cardboard container. The flavor doesn't matter if no one buys it. So the question isn't whether your product is good enough, but whether your listing follows this $100 million formula. And so I have to ask you directly, do you want your product to be invisible, or do you want a highly profitable product, one with the potential to completely change your financial situation? You see, here's the thing. If you're thinking about writing your listing manually in the era of AI, my friend, you have already lost. And the odds are you're going to end up with exactly what we are trying to avoid here, an invisible product. But I have good news. When you have the right specialized AI creating a product listing that follows this exact $100 million formula that all of these successful products follow, becomes insanely simple. And I'm going to show you exactly how right now. You see, until very recently, there were only two ways to get a highly profitable product listing. You could either learn to write it yourself and study the psychology and spend years writing listings that failed before you understand why they failed, and spend millions trying to figure out the exact frameworks like I did. But most people never get there because the learning curve doesn't just cost time. Okay, so if you have millions of dollars to burn and you have several years to spare, this is not achievable unless you have that, I should say. Look, your second option would be to hire a professional copywriter, someone who already understands the framework, the psychology, and the specific techniques that make a product listing work. And the best ones are worth every penny, because a great listing can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars from a product that would have otherwise sit invisible. But the best ones charge anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 for a single product listing. And for established businesses, that investment makes complete financial sense. Look, I know that you might be thinking $50,000 for a product listing sounds insane until you understand that the product might run for years and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, sometimes even millions of dollars in revenue. And if you search out there, you're going to find that I'm actually being conservative with my numbers here. Just as an example on screen. The return on a great listing justifies the cost, as you've seen from every insanely profitable digital product that I've shown you here. But for someone just starting out with their first digital product, it just doesn't make sense to drop even $5,000 on a product listing, let alone $50,000. The cost of the copywriter would have exceeded the revenue of the product many times over before the product had a chance to prove itself. Because of that, a beginner with a new digital product had no realistic path to the kind of listing that could generate tens of thousands of dollars. And that was true until now. You see, here is what you need to understand about this $100 million framework that creates insanely profitable product listings. It follows a very specific sequence of arguments, emotional beats, objection handlers, and proof points that move someone from skepticism, I should say, to wallet in hand, ready to give you money. Just like cracking the code to a safe. Look, every safe has one combination that opens it. And what you really need to understand is that you can't have 99% of the right numbers, and the safe, or I should say you could have 99% of the right numbers, but if you have even 1% wrong, the safe won't open. Okay, you need all of the exact numbers in the exact perfect order. And then, and only then, the safe will crack open. And that's exactly what our $100 million framework does. It cracks someone's buying code. Okay, so just, instead of just opening a safe, it also opens their wallet. Now, once documented, this framework, this sequence can be encoded, not into ChatGPT or any generic AI, but into specialized AI trained specifically on this $100 million framework to write insanely profitable product listings for you. So, look, what you need to understand is that this AI doesn't just write words. It applies a proven $100 million persuasion architecture to your specific product listing. The same persuasion architecture that the best copywriters in the world charge upwards of $50,000 to apply manually. And what I want to do right now is show you exactly how easily you can get a product listing written for you using the right specialized AI, following this specific $100 million framework that I keep hinting at. All right, check this out. This is what it looks like to not have to pay $50,000 to $100,000 to the top copywriters in the world, because all 13 of those psychological buying triggers are encoded, are hardwired into Ghostwriter OS. All you need to do is open this up right here, and you can see the first block is attention, problem, and opportunity. Then the next block is value, test, and history. From there, we move on to product, offer, and warranty. Then it's future and objections. And finally, questions and answer. You're gonna pick the first block, you're gonna hit generate, and then watch the magic unfold. There we go. It's analyzing everything, and it is gonna produce the perfect copy to ensure that your product has the highest chance of flying off the shelves. So you can see right here, this is the first 4 blocks of 13 blocks. And literally all you have to do is just copy and paste the blocks over. Let me show you what the final result looks like. This is what it looks like to have your AI digital product built for you, with every word on your product page meticulously crafted. As a person that spent years and years dedicating their life to learning copywriting, the fact that you get to shortcut that process by years, the fact that you don't have to waste $50,000 or $100,000 in order to get copywriters that are just going to produce results like this. I hope my excitement comes across. The fact that these tools exist, the fact that there is no excuse anymore. Literally anyone can do this with the right specialized AI. All of the barriers have been removed. Like, genuinely, how cool is this? How insane is that? And think about what that actually means. You see, until now, the cost of getting a highly profitable product listing written for you was $50,000. But when the cost of that same listing drops from $50,000 to effectively zero because of a specialized AI like this, the economic barrier that previously kept you out of this simply disappears, allowing you, someone starting with their first AI digital product today, to have a product listing written for you by an AI in a matter of seconds, following the same framework that generated hundreds of millions of dollars in digital product sales at a cost that was previously reserved for people who could afford to spend $50,000 before they made a single dollar. What you need to understand is a simple product listing following this $100 million formula is the difference between your AI digital product making no money at all and making you enough money to completely change your financial situation. And this is how you turn a simple AI digital product into a consistent stream of income that puts money in your pocket every single month, regardless of whether you're tech savvy or not, regardless of whether you have previous experience, regardless of whether or not you think you're too old or too young to do this, regardless of where you are in the world, where you're from, or how much time that you have to dedicate. So the question then becomes, are you finally ready to take full advantage of this incredible AI opportunity in front of you right now? Are you finally ready for once to be ready and to be early to something so massive before anyone else? With your permission, I would like to ask you, can I share with you how I can give you an unfair advantage by having an exclusive access to the greatest hyper specialized AI tools that do majority of the heavy lifting for you? Okay? Just as always, look, I only want to move forward if I have your permission right here. So I want you to go ahead and smash the like button. Okay, I want you to smash the reactions. And as I take a sip of water, I'll see how excited you guys seem about it. Okay, well, clearly you guys are keen. So first things first, I want to say thank you, everyone, for giving me your permission. With that being said, I present to you Ghostwriter OS. Ghostwriter OS is our specialized AI that effortlessly writes your product listings for you with a single click, following that same $100 million framework, allowing you to list your products across all marketplaces and start seeing profits roll in. The listings that are generating 20,000, 700,000, 100,000 on these marketplaces were not written by their creators. They were written by the world-class copywriters who charge $50,000 and up for a single listing. That price tag was the invisible wall that kept the serious money in the hands of people who already had serious money. Ghostwriter OS just knocked down that wall. Okay, that same $100 million framework, the same structure written for you in seconds for effectively nothing. And that means that the playing field, I should say, has just become leveled in a way that it has never been leveled before, because the tool that used to cost you $50,000 to access is now sitting in your hands. The advantage that belonged exclusively to those who are already wealthy enough to buy it is yours before you've actually made your first dollar, before you've launched your first product right now. This way, you can build a page that brings in lots of profits straight into your pocket, even if you have never done this before. Look, you just tell it what your AI digital product is, and it starts generating a profitable listing for you with a single click in less than a minute. The listing from Ben's digital product that's putting $3,000 in his pocket every single month, it was written with Ghostwriter. The listing from Zada's product on the buckwheat diet that's generating her anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 every month, it was written using Ghostwriter OS. All of these listings have been written using Ghostwriter OS by people who had never created a product listing before. And that means the thing that separates the products making hundreds of thousands of dollars from the ones that are considered invisible products that don't make a single dime is the listing that makes a buyer feel within seconds that this was built specifically for them. Okay? That is something that you, my friend, no longer have to figure out how to do on your own. It's something you already have before your first product even goes live, and you can get access to this exact same technology today, Ghostwriter OS, during this session for only $2,999, okay? That will give you unlimited access to the specialized AI tool. Or there's also a way to get it for free, which is when you join Monetize today, you are going to get access to Ghostwriter OS at no extra cost to you. That's because I am absorbing the fee for you to get access to this software completely on me. And by the way, I'm going to show you the wires right here. Okay? I want to be fully transparent with you. This is actually not a software that me or my company have built on the side in a few weeks. I'm actually paying a licensing fee, okay? I am licensing this from a company that has been developing this for years, so it has a real, tangible, hard cost. I have paid this company over $751,000 in licensing fees in the past year alone. And by the way, you can see proof of every single bank wire right there. So, apart from that, I also want to show you what else you get when you enroll in Monetize today. And just so you know, I have saved the best for last. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys, you were here yesterday, maybe you got bummed out that, you weren't a part of the 888, and I wanted to make sure that you got something today that, in my humble opinion, maybe that's because I paid $1.7 million to be able to get this thing, in my humble opinion, is even more powerful than yesterday's bonus. Now, if you got yesterday's bonus, well, congratulations. You're going to get today's as well. That's really our whole philosophy. Any of our clients at consultant.com and inside of Monetize, we have a philosophy that if you take action, we want to reward you. So the way that we always move forward with things like this is if you purchase, the sooner you purchase, if there's ever bonuses that get announced later on, you get access to all of them, okay? So really, genuinely, it is in your best interest to take action sooner rather than later, if, of course, this is something that interests you. So, as mentioned, I have a new bonus, okay? That once again, if you've already invested in Monetize, you're going to get this entirely for free. You're going to get airdrop this. But if you invest before the end of the presentation today and you become a Monetize client, you will also get access to it entirely for free. This is a bonus that I have personally paid $1.7 million out of pocket for, and the people who have used it generated over $600 million in tracked revenue. You're going to see what this is in just a second. But quick refresher. Let's start with Synthesize AI. Synthesize AI works like a black box machine where you click a few buttons on one side and you get a ready to launch AI digital product generated for you on the other side, allowing you to start building an online income even if you are a complete beginner. It is like a printer, but it prints winning AI digital products instead of paper. And a single winning digital product is all that it takes to make you ungovernable. Ungovernable because no one else will ever tell you again what to do. No boss will tell you what to do. No parents on how to control and live your life. No one will put a price on you, and no government will dictate how you should or how you should not live your life. And that is what it's all about. The last time I made this available, we turned thousands of regular, everyday people into ungovernable individuals. And with Synthesize AI and Ghostwriter OS, you now have access to the same specialized AI tools that these individuals used to achieve that. So that way you too can become ungovernable and reclaim ownership of your life. Now, pay very close attention because I want to sweeten the deal and ensure that the possibility of failure on your side is as low as possible. So on top of the 2 specialized AI that you're already getting, I'm adding some extremely exclusive add-ons today with your Monetize enrollment, which, as a reminder, are only available during this challenge for those who are serious about changing their lives and see this as their golden ticket to the freedom that they've been searching for. If you take action today, you're going to get rewarded, starting with Digital Product Formula. You're going to get access to the exact same blueprint used by every single person who ended up on this leaderboard the last time I hosted this challenge. Now, I've actually recorded myself going through this entire blueprint, every single detail, every click, every strategy, from complete beginner developing your first product to making your first money to scaling to tens of thousands of dollars per month. This way, all you have to do is literally just hit copy and paste, okay? Just copy and paste everything that I do. And also let me remind you, this is the exact training Armando followed to create his first digital product and scale it to the point that allowed him to buy his own McLaren at 19, okay? Think of it as having me as your own personal trainer. When you go to the gym with a personal trainer, you don't really have to think about which workout you're going to do or how much weight that you should use. You literally just do what they say and get results. Well, it's the same here with me as your personal coach. And instead of building muscle, we're going to build you an online income from zero. Historically, people have paid $1,495 just to access my training programs. And bear in mind, those are real screenshots, okay, of previous programs that we've had. Just programs, no tools, no software, nothing else, just programs. But you, my friend, are going to get grandfathered in 100% free, but only if you act now. Now, you might be asking, well, what happens if I get stuck during this process? What if something happens, okay, and you have questions that you feel like need to be answered? Well, that's exactly why I'm giving you access to Ask Eman AI. I have taken my entire 10-year journey, every video I've ever published, every paid program I've created, and thousands of hours of internal consulting calls and team calls, and I have fed all of it into this AI. So that way you can literally just message me as if you were messaging me one-on-one, okay? But I want to make it clear, this is not just a chatbot. This is the equivalent of having a virtual version of me available 24/7 in your pocket to answer any and all questions and concerns that you might have. This way, you are never going to get stuck or be left alone without anyone to ask for advice. And you can message me as many times as you want, and you're going to get a precise and insightful answer every single time. I am there for you 24/7, never leaving any stone unturned. And by the way, this is something I can't even put a price on. Okay, you can't get this anywhere else. It is literally priceless. But to make sure that your odds of success are as high as possible, I actually created a safety net for you. And if, what I did here was I gave you insurance. Here's what we're doing. If you don't make your first digital product sale within 60 days of joining Monetize, then my own team that's generated over $100 million will personally step in and help you hands-on. So that way, you know exactly what you need to do to change step by step. Okay, you're gonna get a full diagnostics report in order for you to start making money. This way, even if you do everything wrong, you can still make money. So that way, you don't even need to trust yourself to get things right. You just need to leave it to our team. The only way to get this level of one-on-one access, by the way, just a heads up, with my team in order to review your product is through our consulting program, UpLevel, which would cost you $7,800. With Monetize, if you don't make your first dollar, you get this one-on-one diagnosis at no extra cost. Now, as I've said, I have saved the best for last. So let's go over this special bonus that is only going to be available to those who enroll in Monetize before the end of today's presentation. The one that I paid $1.7 million for. Look, around a year ago, I acquired a 9-figure consulting firm called Consultant.com, which was previously owned by Sam Ovens and Ryan Doris, established back in 2016. And as a part of this acquisition, I got access to their catalog of programs, which included their flagship program called Consulting Accelerator. It teaches you how to create a high ticket digital product so that way you can make $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 from one single sale. This model has been used by over 20,000 people to monetize their digital products. People like David, who used it to break $50,000 in less than 90 days, or Adanula, who generated nearly $2,000 from just 2 hours of using this model, or Christine, who made $8,000, or Nick, who made $20,000 in a month with this program, and Ray, who managed to quit her job and work online full-time because of this program. As a matter of fact, all of those, as a matter of fact, those examples that I just mentioned right there are some of the smallest results that people have gotten from this program. This system has helped over 2,838 people quit their jobs. 452 people make 6 figures plus a year. And here it says they created 21 millionaires, but this number is actually outdated. The last time we counted, this number was at 52 already, 52 millionaires. That is the tracked number that the previous owner had collated all the information of and that we got access to when I bought the company. And in total, okay, these individuals generated not $100 million, not $200 million, not $400 million, but $690 million in earnings from 72 countries around the world. You see, at the time that I acquired Consultant.com, Consulting Accelerator sold for $1,999. Over 20,000 customers have paid that amount for this program. So let me ask you, if you had access to the same system that created 52 millionaires, hundreds of 6-figure earners, and thousands of people quit their job, would that give you an unfair advantage over the competition? Since now, not only do you have one, but two proven to work $100 million digital product strategies at your disposal. Well, that is exactly what you are getting access to at no extra cost when you join Monetize today. Now, let me tell you a little secret about Consultant.com and why I invested $1.7 million only to give you our flagship program at no extra cost. Look, I'm going to be honest. Of course, I'm not just doing this for charitable purposes. I would love to say so, but the truth is I'm not Mother Teresa, okay? I acquired Consultant.com to turn it into the #1 consulting firm in the world for digital products, and we got there. That is why our enterprise clients pay us anywhere from $25,000 on the low end all the way up to $250,000 for our services, and that is where I really make the majority of my money. And if I'm being honest with you, my selfish reason to be giving you access to all of these tools and trainings for such a tiny price is because I want you to eventually become an enterprise client of mine at Consulting.com. And I know for a fact that just from the people who succeed from this challenge, this could add anywhere from $10 to $50 million in revenue for my consulting business, which is the main company. And the only way for me to ensure that you're going to get there and eventually become one of our enterprise clients is to make sure that this system that I'm handing you works flawlessly. So, yes, okay, is it really in my best interest to make sure that we're making you as much money as possible and allowing everyone who joins us to profit? Okay, yeah. So I guess technically, sure, you could call me selfish because I need you to make as much money as possible. Now, you're probably wondering at this point, how much is this incredible opportunity going to run you? So listen, as you've seen, just between Ghostwriter OS and Synthesize AI, we spent well over 7 figures to put this entire system together and make it available for you. Each one of the software and the add-ons you get costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop and license. So if I were to break this all down and sell each component one by one, the total value here would be over $17,000. As a matter of fact, this is completely undervalued because of what this actually accomplishes and what profits are generated from our new clients that join. But you remember our challenge numbers. If we were to do half of what we did last time, that's $7.5 million. If we were to do the same as what we did last time, that's $15 million. But if we were to do more than what we just did last time, who knows what that number could be? So imagine being a part of this small group of individuals who together will get paid tens of millions of dollars in earnings from applying this complete system. Just that alone would already make enrolling right now a no-brainer. However, with all that being said, you won't need to invest $17,000 to get all of this delivered to you. As a matter of fact, you won't pay $10,000. And to be fair, that would be extremely justified given the income that this can generate for the average individual. Now, let me ask you, if $5,000 was what we were going to ask from everyone, if all that did, okay, if all that accomplished, if all that Monetize did was let you stop checking your bank account with that knot in your stomach, if it just gave you the freedom to cover every single bill without thinking about it twice, wouldn't that be worth $5,000? Or how about if all this did was put you in a position where you could walk away from the job that you hate or a boss who doesn't respect you because you had a real income coming in on your own terms? Wouldn't that be worth investing $5,000 for? Or let me ask you this. If all this did was make you the person in your family who actually figured out, the one who broke the cycle, who built something real, who finally created financial security, not just for yourself, but for the people you love, would this not be worth the small investment of $5,000? The answer is of course. But here's the thing. We are doing something extremely special only for those who are alive with me right now. $5,000 would be extremely justified, but you won't need to pay $5,000. We understand that the average person who really needs this does not have the means to reach into their back pocket and pay $5,000 to join us as a client. And we want to give the average person who needs this an equal shot at finally having their day in the sun and creating an online income from zero. So look, you're not going to pay $5,000 today. In fact, you won't even pay $3,000, and that would be an absolute no-brainer already. For today's exclusive live workshop, you can get complete access to this entire package for a single payment of only $1,995. And you can get access to Monetize right now by going to joineman.com or clicking the pin linked in the live chat of the stream. Joineman.com or by clicking the link in the pinned comment in the live chat. Look, if you want to save your spot for Consulting Accelerator as a special bonus at no extra cost, make sure to do this and complete your enrollment right now. Once again, this is only for those of you who are smart enough to join us fast. Those are the people who will be able to reap this exclusive benefit. Let me warn you, this entire package with Ghostwriter OS, Synthesize AI, all of the add-ons, and Consulting Accelerator will not be available any longer after the countdown on joineman.com hits 0. Now, all you have to do is head over to joineman.com, make the decision right now to enroll and enjoy the start of true financial freedom. Just imagine having your AI digital product generating you money day in, day out, even when you're asleep. And remember, this is only for those who are live with us right now. We want to reward you for being a fast mover and sticking with us up until this point. Only those of you listening can access this by using the link in the pinned comment, which is joineman.com, and get in at this highly discounted rate with all of our add-ons, including Consulting Accelerator. As soon as I finish today's session, the offer is done for good, and you will not get Consulting Accelerator as a bonus again. And remember, this is not something that's sold publicly anymore. So even if you want to go out there and pay $1,999 just for Consulting Accelerator, you wouldn't be able to, okay? So you need to make a decision fast and decide if you want to join us, because you only have until the end of the webinar to make this decision. If you are one of the smart individuals who sees the value of this and you are ready to finally break the chains and build an extra income online, well then head over to joineman.com and enroll now. And now I'm going to do something that will blow your mind, because I know exactly what's going on in your head right now. What if I'm 100% willing to join and ready to put in the work, but Monetize just doesn't work out for me? What if I put up this investment and it just doesn't go as I would have hoped? Okay, am I going to lose money? And those are great questions, and they are exactly the sort of questions a smart person should be asking before making any investment decision. But look, here's what I'm about to announce. And by the way, I've never seen anyone do this before, because what we have doesn't exist anywhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm introducing our work with you until you win guarantee. Not a money back guarantee, but something even better than that. When you join Monetize, you either 10x your investment or we keep working with you until you do, period. And I mean that literally. We will never charge you another dollar for another update. We will keep coaching you. We will keep giving you access to new programs and keep supporting you. We will keep showing up for you until you hit that 10x mark. But don't just take my word for it. Last time I made this available, our clients were in awe when they received tens of thousands of dollars worth of software and training that was never promised to them, handed to them on a silver platter. And that happened because we genuinely care about the people who trust us with their investment. So our goal here is simple. At a minimum, you recoup your investment. And we will make sure that happens as long as you use our AI system. And here is why we can make a guarantee this strong when no one else can, because of WAP. Okay, because of WAP, we can verify every number, every dollar in real time. But this isn't just a promise, it is a commitment backed by data that we can actually see. So we don't just believe this works, we can prove it's working for you. Now, you might be wondering, well, why would you do this? Or, why would you do all of this? Look, when I sat down with my team and told them I was making this guarantee, the reasoning was simple. Who on God's green earth would walk away from a system that's making them money every single month and that continues to give them more tools, more updates, and more ways to make money? No one. So look, we're not worried because the people who stay and use the system get results, and the results speak for themselves from the last two challenges. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Monetize isn't for everyone. If building a real income from zero isn't something you actually want, well then, I'll be honest, this isn't for you. And that's okay, But for everyone who is a logical person and can see why this is a complete no-brainer, I will see you at joineman.com. So go there now, enroll before you miss out on today's session-only bonus consulting accelerator, as well as all the special add-ons, and do it with complete peace of mind, knowing that no matter what happens, we will have your back through every step of the journey. And now, if the entry fee, I should say, is a concern right now, I have something very special for those who qualify. We hear the same question all the time. Is there some sort of way I could get this for free? And sometimes people try different angles. I'll split the profits with you if you let me in. And I genuinely wish I could give this to everyone for free, but I simply can't because we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in monthly payroll for our engineering team and for the software that we license to provide people for free inside of Monetize. The infrastructure that makes your results possible, it costs real money to run. And because of that, we found a better solution. And it's one that you're going to love, okay? We recently got approved by some of the most powerful buy now, pay later firms in the world: Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, Sezzle, and Split It. And here is why this matters more than it might seem. You have to understand that very few businesses on the market have access to their services because they only serve businesses with long, proven track records of customer satisfaction. So us being able to sit here and offer you these payment methods is a privilege for us because it speaks volumes about the way that we do business and our track record with our clients. And with these payment options available, allowing anyone to be able to get started right away with zero excuses. So let me show you how you can get access to this for a fraction of the total price. Step number one is very simple. Head over to joineman.com right now. Once you are there, you will need to click on the Get Access Now button, and then it will take you over to our enrollment page. From there, you're going to be able to see all of the financing options available within your region. Okay, everything from Klarna to Affirm to Sezzle, Clarity Pay, and even Split It, which is available pretty much virtually everywhere. Now, let me share the steps with you right here. Look, these are the things that you're going to do, and I cannot make it any easier for you to get access to this for a tiny amount today. We have different options for the folks who want in, but simply don't have the funds to dish out upfront. You have seen it yourself. You can take complete advantage of Klarna, Sezzle, Affirm, Clarity Pay, and Split It. All you have to do is pick which one you want to use based on the installment options that they give you. Go through the process and check out, and if you use a buy now, pay later option, they will typically approve you on the spot if you qualify. Check this out right here. You can get instant access for as low as $166 a month, all backed by our work with you until you win guarantee that I just told you about. But here is the real question. How much longer? How much longer are you going to let money problems quietly eat away at you every single day, scared to open your banking app because you don't want to face the number on the screen and watching every month pass by the same way that it did the last time. So if any part of that sounds familiar, you already know where you belong. Join eman.com right now. And remember, what's the worst that can actually happen? We have you covered completely. Now, if you are still hesitant to pull the trigger and jump in, if you're still watching, if you're still here with me, still tiptoeing around the edge, wanting to take that leap, but something is holding you back, I want to let you in on a little secret. One that I've realized after helping countless people around the world generate millions of dollars. Now, before I share this with you, I want to apologize ahead of time because this might rattle some of you. So, what is this revelation exactly? There are three kinds of people watching right now: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who are still wondering what happened. Those who make things happen are people like Ryan, who's making $4,000 a month consistently, even coming from a small town and being someone who tried other businesses before with no success. People like Enric, who generated $10,000 in 1.5 months using the same strategy that you're going to learn inside of Consulting Accelerator. These are the people that didn't sit on the sidelines watching everyone else prosper. But the worst of these three, and luckily you don't fall under this category, fortunately, okay, are those who are still wondering what's happening. They don't even realize that the digital gold rush is happening at this current moment. So now, ask yourself and be brutally honest. Who am I? Am I the one who makes things happen? Or am I the one who watches things happen? And look, I know you are most certainly not someone who's wondering what's even happening, because you have the privilege, okay, of going right now and finally being the one who makes things happen. And that is only for those who go to join Eman right now and join before it's too late. Now, guys, I want to change the setting here for a bit and do what we did yesterday and sort of, pull up the camera